the last week of summer. It's the last week of my summer break because I'm a teacher and we go back to school August 3rd. So this week I am going to try and get the most reading done possible because I am behind on my Goodreads goal. I think I need to read like 10 books or something to get back on track. It's ridiculous, but I'm going to spend as much time as possible reading this week. So we are going to start with a book of the month book, Her One Regret by Donna Freitas. And I got this November of 2025. So I believe this is about, let me read the little synopsis. So this is about this woman, this mom, Lucy, goes missing in a parking lot. Like she goes missing, her daughter's in the parking lot, groceries left in the parking lot, her car's left, like it goes missing. And so her best friend's like freaking out, her husband's like freaking out, everyone's like, who took her, what happened to her, what happened? And then they start to be like, oh, well, did she maybe just leave? Did she just like check out of her life, and just like abandon her family because she was really struggling with motherhood? So it is, I believe, a thriller. It is a pulse-pounding feminist thriller, a moving depiction of the realities of motherhood, and a rich exploration of a subject our culture and society have rendered nearly verboten: the possibility that for some women, motherhood is an unfixable mistake. Okay, so I'm on chapter 10 of Her One Regret, and so far, it's really interesting. So you have Lucy, which is the mom that goes missing, Michelle, her best friend, who's also a mom, and then Julia, this other woman who is coming to terms with the fact that like she regrets being a mom, basically. And I just think that the commentary around motherhood so far in the story has been really, really good. Like it's a take that I haven't really seen in much media, of not wanting to have kids or having kids and then wishing they didn't have kids, or just like missing who they were before they had kids, not necessarily regretting that they had kids. But I have this quote that I want to read. She understands the mysterious love for a child as well as anything she's ever known. It isn't a choice, it happens unbidden, a tidal wave of emotion a mother will be drowning in for the rest of her days. So yeah, I just think that the way that motherhood is being talked about is really, really interesting. And then on the thriller side of things, we're slowly putting together the pieces of like what happened to Lucy. Well, we're not even putting the pieces together yet. We're just slowly unraveling the mystery, which is like, did she get kidnapped or did she just like run away? All right, everybody, I have some good news and I have some bad news. So the good news is I finished Her One Regret. The bad news is I didn't like it. So I think the last time I updated you guys, it was just like talking about the challenges of motherhood and trying to figure out what happened to Lucy. Well, it just got so crazy. And like, I'm talking, so I don't want to spoil anything, but this did not feel like a thriller, okay? I was really looking forward to a thriller because that's what this is branded as. But it felt more like literary fiction, just like a story of motherhood and, accepting whether or not you're meant to be a mother and like all these other things. The thrilling aspect was bizarre, okay? I'm just gonna say bizarre. No way you could have guessed anything, okay? I mean, maybe you could have, I don't know. So when you're reading a thriller and the detective is like putting the pieces together and all of a sudden they're like, oh, the missing piece. And then they tell you what the missing piece is, or like then it cuts to a different point of view and you like figure out what the missing piece is in real time or whatever. Yeah, they did that and then never told us what the missing piece was. So I'm still confused how they even figured out what happened. But then also, random other plot taking place that I didn't even know was taking place until like the end of the book. And I was like, oh, that was like a whole other thing happening. So it was just kind of crazy. And I ultimately didn't love it. Ultimately did not love it, which is unfortunate because I really wanted to. And I think that there are things about this book that are going to stay with me. It's fine. I'm giving this one 2 stars because I'm not impressed. So starting off not super strong, I have high hopes for the rest of the books this week. I've decided for my next read, I'm going to read A Good Animal by Sarah Moore. I got this from Book of the Month, February of this year, so February 2026. And I'll be honest, I don't really remember what it's about. Staying is his dream, leaving is hers. One secret threatens them both. Maybe a coming of age story. Together they make an impulsive choice, one that could change everything. Well, I'm sold. And it's really, really short. I'm not that halfway through it, but I think it's under 300 pages. Yeah. So let's go ahead and start this one. I think I'm a quarter of the way through. So it looks like it's split up by season. So I guess the whole book is going to take place in the span of a year. But so far it takes place in summer of 1995. That's when it starts, summer of 1995. And the main character, Everett, lives on a farm with his dad, his brother, sister, mom, all that stuff. And his best friend, Charlie, they're just like good old country boys, like rednecks. They're part of, what's it called? 4F? I don't remember. But whatever you do, like in high school where you show animals, they show sheep. So, and then this new girl comes to town, Mary, and she is like, I'm just here for the senior year. Like, I'm not staying. I'm getting out of here as soon as I can. And Everett falls for her, like, so hard. But she's not interested because obviously she's trying to get out. I like it. I'm a little bored. I won't lie. I mean, we're talking a lot about sheep and farm work, but I mean, it's part of it. So I'm just gonna keep going. And yeah, I took the cover off because I hate reading with these on. Like whenever I have it open, anyway. I really like the way that the author is writing. So it's first person, but it's like very much like he's telling the story. So it's like most of the time it's in, the present, like he's talking as if things are happening, but then every once in a while he'll like sprinkle in like a thought as if he was like giving a little description into what was significant about it. Okay, I'm doing a horrible job explaining. Let me just read you this. Sometimes I tell myself that if I had been smart, if I had known then what I know now, I would have turned the truck around. I would have taken her to the modular and walked her to the door, turned around and walked away, taking only that handful of memories with me. But I wasn't as dumb as I'd like to tell myself. I knew everything right from the start. I walked into it with eyes wide open and kept right on going. So like it's just cool because it's as if he's telling you the story and then he like breaks the fourth wall, I guess, and is like talking to the reader like, hey, by the way, yeah, I should have done this, or I shouldn't have done this, or I wish I would have done this, So I think that's really cool the way that he's writing. I will say there's a lot about sheep and farm life. Like there is so much, and there's really not like, I'm like about halfway through it now, and there's not like a plot, like a overarching plot. Like it's very much like, I mean, I guess coming of age, like a slice of life story. So you see the day-to-day of life on a farm, and young love, first love, all that kind of stuff. So it's good. I wouldn't say I'm loving it, but it is good. So I did in fact finish A Good Animal, and I gotta say I'm a little disappointed. I feel like I was just expecting something very different going into the book, and then I didn't. And then what I actually got was very disappointing. Like it was fine, I guess. I just, like, there's a lot about sheep. Like, I feel like I could take care of a sheep right now. You know what I mean? Like, there was just a lot. And the ending was like, I'm not gonna lie, it was sad. Like, it was rough. And I'm a big fan of a struggle story. Okay, struggle movies, struggle books. Like, I'm a big fan of struggle. That's not what this was. This wasn't like struggle. It was just sad. I don't know. I'm feeling like 2 stars for this one. And that's not being harsh. Like, I don't necessarily think it was a bad book. I think it was written really well. But it was just like, I don't know. If you asked me to give you a summary of this book, I don't think I could. Because it was just a year in Everett's life, I guess. So that's disappointing, but it's another book down. Okay, sorry about the horrendous lighting and angle here, but I've decided to come back to the Bridge Kingdom series. This is book 5, The Twisted Throne by Daniela L. Jensen. So these books I started, I guess last summer. I read 1 through 4, and oh my gosh, ate them up. The first 2 were incredible. So basically, the first 2 follow the main character and her love interest. They're romantasy, by the way. So they follow her, and then books 3 and 4 follow, is it the main character's brother? I don't know, but it follows 2 other important characters. And unfortunately, book 3 is just a repeat of book 2, but from other characters' perspectives. And it's a lot. But anyway, I did like them. I just needed to take a break last summer because it was a lot. They're very spicy, and that's just not really what I'm looking for. And like I said, it was very repetitive, so I wasn't in love with books 3 and 4, but 1 and 2 I loved. This one is, I think, about the main character's love interest from the first 2 books, about his sister. So I think that was the most convoluted way I could have explained that. But when I went and bought the physical copies, because I read the first book on Kindle Unlimited, the rest are not on Kindle Unlimited, or they weren't at least last summer. So when I went to Barnes & Noble to pick up the rest of the series, I bought all of the released books, which was up through book 5. I'm pretty certain that book 6 is out already. I'm not sure though, but maybe if I fall in love with this story, I'll go pick it up. I don't know. This is, if it's following the same structure as the rest of the series, it's going to be dual POV. So we have the main character, Anna, and love interest. Oh, don't know who the love interest is actually. Okay, so I'm thinking this might be a little bit of a love triangle or in love with the wrong person type of plot. Anyway, it sucks that I'm not going to be able to like give details as much on this one because it is the 5th book in a series, but I'll do what I can. Good morning. I am recovering from sickness, so if my voice is super annoying, I'm sorry. It's annoying to me too. So I just finished the first 5 chapters, and now I feel better equipped to give you guys a little rundown. I'm pretty sure I rambled and made 0 sense when I was trying to explain what the series is about. So now that it's kind of come back to me, let's redo that, shall we? The Bridge Kingdom, book 1 of this incredible series, is about Laura and Aaron. Laura is a spy princess, okay? Killer, assassin, all these things. She's a super crazy, it's like, she's an incredible woman, okay? Beautiful, of course. So she is set to marry Aaron, the king of Ithacana, because of a trade agreement from like 10, 15 years ago, whatever. Ithacana is like this super secret mystery. They own the bridges that run trade through the whole, like, I guess it's not kingdom. It's like through the whole, like all the different kingdoms. And so they're like super powerful, super mysterious. No one's ever seen what they look like. No one's ever seen their faces, all this stuff. So she is going to marry the king, but her goal is to figure out Ithacana's weak spots and exploit them so that her country, Meridrina, can infiltrate and take over. Okay. So that is the premise of book 1. And of course, it's a romantasy. So what do you think happens? Exactly. That's book 1 and 2. Books 3 and 4, I'm like so super sure that it's Laura's brother, Karis, and someone else. I literally cannot remember who the girl is. She's very important, but I can't remember her name or like who she is. But books 3 and 4 are about them, and just kind of like the continuation of this big war that's happening. Okay. Now the war is like kind of figured out. I'm trying to do this as spoiler free as possible. The war is kind of settled. And this is book 5. And it is about Arin's sister, this twin sister, Anna. And she, just like Laura was part of the trade agreement or the treaty thing to be married to Arin, Anna was promised to wed the Prince of Harendel, I don't know, a different kingdom. Oh my gosh. When you try and explain it all at once, it sounds like a lot, but like it's just really good. Like it has the politics, it has the romance, it has the spice, it has the fantasy elements, it has the war. Like it has the friendship and it's really, really good. So this book started off with her going to Harendel to marry the prince. But the prince that comes to like collect her and bring her to Harendel is not the prince that she's gonna marry. So do you see where this is going? She's already kind of making a connection with the wrong prince. Just saying. I know where this is going. I don't know if y'all know where this is going, but I know where this is going. So I am enjoying it. I'm glad that I gave myself a break in between the last book and this book, because coming back to it, it's like falling back into this world that I truly do love so much. And it's just, I just forgot how much I love these characters and how much I love the world and the story. So I'm very, very, very excited. I've also been in a fantasy mood. Like I have been craving fantasy, and I don't know what it is. Something about summer is fantasy to me. Like during the summer, I don't want to read anything but fantasy, which is like, I feel like weird, but for me it makes sense because I'm not working during the summer. So it's like I can give my full brain power to the fantasy because those require the most brain power in my experience compared to like a fiction or a thriller or just a romance, you know? So fantasy is still far and away my favorite genre. It's just hard to find good fantasy, really good romantasy, because let me tell you, I love fantasy with a subplot of romance. That is like, romantasy though means fantasy with spice, and that's not what I'm here for, okay? Truth be told, I'm not a huge fan of spice in books. I don't need it. I would rather you be a good enough author to convey to me the emotions that they're feeling and the desire between them and the longing, the yearning, without getting explicit. Okay. Just, I'm a big fan of a fade to black. Okay. Just, I know what they're doing behind closed doors. I don't need to be in the room with them. You know what I'm saying? So I know that this one is going to be spicy and I'm just going to deal with it, but sometimes you just gotta, you know, gosh, I sound so sick. Sorry about that, guys. Anyway, continuing on. Okay, you guys, I've read a lot more of this book, Twisted Throne. I am about halfway through. I'm like 200 pages in. I'm on chapter 23. And it's really good. I am really, really enjoying it. I love how this book has completely taken its own path, but we're still getting those glimpses into the other characters that we previously had entire books dedicated to. And I just feel like this is very well written. I love the writing style of Danielle Jensen. It's dual POV, third person, all things that I love in a fantasy. I think that the way that she writes conflict also is very good, because it's like, obviously we know there's something going on, right? Like, it's a fantasy between kingdoms, like there's war, there's politics, something's going on, okay? But I'm not entirely clear on what it is, because like I know what it is, but I'm not making any sense. Really enjoying the way that the conflict is unfolding. And now I need to check, where's my phone? I need to see if the last book in this series, I hope this is the last book. I mean, okay, that sounds like I don't like the series. I like the series. You know what I'm saying. The Tempest Blade, yes, it was published in April. Whoa, hello? Okay. And it looks like this is it. This is the last one. Yay. I will say the covers are so freaking gorgeous. They all look like this. So pretty. Anyway, okay, so when I finish this book, I'm probably going to go grab that last book, because I'm halfway through this, but like knowing the formula of the way that she's writing, it's like there's like 3 duologies, right? It's Lara and Arn, Zara and Karis, and then now Anna and James. So those are like the POVs that we get. So basically, I know when I get to the end of this book, it's gonna be a huge cliffhanger. Okay, it's gonna be a huge cliffhanger. And I am so excited to finish this series, because I genuinely do love it. Like, reading this has made me want to go back and reread the first 2 books, because they were so good. So much anxiety, okay? So much just like yearning, and the love between the characters, and just like the sense of responsibility and duty and devotion to their people, because like everyone's royal, okay? Like everyone that you're looking at, they're all royalty. So it's okay, don't know how this happened, but I'm just sitting editing my video, and I realized that I never actually gave you guys an update on my thoughts on The Twisted Throne, because I did finish it. I finished it basically in a day. Like, I stayed up until late finishing this book, because it was so good, okay? Like, this was everything I wanted it to be. This book, the conflict was, like, it made sense, because that's my big thing. Like, if you're gonna have a huge cliffhanger, it's gotta make sense. You can't just have conflict for the sake of having conflict. Like, all of the conflict in this book makes sense for the characters, for the story, yada yada. One thing I will say is the main character has this issue, like an internal battle that she's fighting, and it got a little repetitive, I will say, because the entire book she was just struggling with the same like battle, and it did get repetitive. But I mean, I don't blame her for that, you know what I mean? There were times where I was like, okay girl, we get it, you don't know what's going on. I'm going to Barnes & Noble ASAP to pick up The Tempest Blade, which is the last book, because this just, you can interpret that how you wish, but yeah, I freaking loved this book. And I will say, in terms of spice, there was really only, like, there was mentions of it, but then it wasn't until, I want to say like 80% maybe, when we got like the big spice scene, and it was too much, but then that was it. So if you also are not a huge fan of spice, you'll only have to deal with it once. But if you like spice, it was a well-written spice scene, so there's that. And with that, we are done with my last week of summer and my last week of like dedicated intentional summer reading. So let's go over the books that I read this week. I read Her One Regret by Donna Freitas. I gave it 2 stars. Wah, wah. I read A Good Animal by Sarah Marr. Also gave this one 2 stars. Wah wah. But then it's okay. We ended with a bang, okay? Because I then read A Twisted Throne by Danielle L. Jensen and gave this one 4 stars. Super, super love this book. I love fantasy. Oh my gosh. I just love fantasy. Okay, anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed. If you've read any of these books, let me know whether or not you like them in the comments. If you have any book suggestions for me, I'm definitely going to be slowing down on the reading since school's starting up, but I still want to be reading, always. So thank you guys so much for watching. I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.